15 minutes here. Oh, whoops. I don't seem to be, well, I'll do it anyway. Okay. Another tendency of literary narratives that differs from natural narratives that they use more literary language. So, I mean, here's a funny thing, okay? If we look at the subject of the sentence, it's tendency, and another tendency of literary narratives is that a tendency is that, okay? That's the sentence. Another tendency is that, okay? Can we like tighten that up? Well, let me suggest. I'm going to show you some fancy things. Unlike, well, I don't even know if we need that. If it's clear we've been comparing them to natural narratives, did we say something about that? Yeah, up here. So we might be able to get away with literary narratives. Watch this. Also use more literary language. Now the problem is, what does that? That almost sounds like, well, literary narrative. Of course, literary narratives use literary language. What does that mean? Well, I guess you're going to tell us. Aha! Here comes the. So I did a little bit of work there. For example, it uses figurative language like similes and metaphors. Good. Oh, here's a different. Now it does. Hold on here. It would be narratives. So if this, we got to see, what does our pronoun refer to? It looks like it refers to narrative. Well, that's plural. Narratives, that's plural. So if we're going to do that, we need to say they to agree with narratives like that. They use figurative language like similes. But I'm wondering, could we just, maybe this, because that kind of just seems like this, it doesn't really say anything, more literary language, because that's just saying, of course, if they're literary, what does that mean though? So could we do this? Could we just cut out all this and put these two sentences together and just say literary narratives also use more, and then move this up here, more figurative language like similes and metaphors. How about that? You could possibly even just get rid of the figurative and say use more similes and metaphors. But now you're going, oh wait, I'm trying to make the word count, and you're cutting it all out. Yeah, well, you want to make more room for your actual analysis. Let's see if the analysis starts to take place here. Okay. Lastly, oh, okay. So maybe this writer does it somewhere else. But what I'm going to say is, if you, again, when you create an expectation in the reader, you need to satisfy it. So if you bring up similes and metaphors for me, and then the next thing you do is you go off and talk about something else, then that bothers me. Wait, maybe this was the only reason you could get away with that. Maybe that's true. Maybe this was the last paragraph of the essay. Let me go. Okay, no, it's not the last paragraph of the essay. So here is a whole paragraph waiting to be born. It's not there. Literary narratives also use similes and metaphors, or more figurative language. Okay, that needs to be a whole paragraph, and then you can go back and pick up and now you can go back and pick up, if I can get, it's the circle of death there. You can go back up here, right, and get that quote, this. For had she touched me with the match of her eyes, I should have gone up like a magazine. Now you can talk about that, right? And you would talk about it here, and you could put other examples there. So if you're going to say that, and if you haven't already worked it out earlier in the essay, let's have it. Let's have it. So there's a paragraph there, okay? So that needs to be born. And then this could be a different paragraph. Maybe we have 3 paragraphs here. It kind of sounds like a conclusion, but if it is, you need to make sure you've actually done all this. So we have lacking certain parts. Okay, it does that with Benjamin's ordinance. We have similes and metaphors, but I don't see that the writer has gone into that deeply. And then we have dialect. Okay, let's see if it does that. Okay, and now I'm kind of looking at content rather than sentences, but you'll see that they do kind of connect, obviously. Let's see. Sorry, where did that go? I lost it, sorry. Oh, lastly, another difference between, okay, so here, lastly, another difference, we don't need that, is the dialect. Lastly, let's see, in a natural narrative, the dialect can derive from the narrator in the background they come from. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it quickly. Lastly, natural and literary narratives. Literary narratives use dialect differently than do natural narratives. I don't know about that differently, in a different way. Yeah, and I know that because I've already kind of read ahead. So notice how I tighten that up, and then we go into it. In a natural narrative, the dialect can derive from the narrator in the background they come from. Good. Okay, and I'm going to stop there for the sake of time. But this is a pretty, this is a pretty well written selection, and I mostly just did some tweaking. It already had quite a few strong verbs. But I hope you see that this is a very powerful method, and so I want you to demonstrate that in your lab with one paragraph. As far as how you turn it into me, as you can see, I was kind of figuring that out as I went. You could, I'll just leave that up to you. I want to see that you did it, so you could kind of do what I did, but I didn't do it so successfully, which is to, first of all, explode it and then copy each sentence and then show me on the second copy what you change. Or maybe you could just, use the one sentence and use the cross-out buttons like the cross-out button and stuff, and some other way of adding things. I'll let you decide what a good way is, but what I kind of want to see is what you do to the sentence, what it was originally, and what you turn it into. Okay? So do that for about half a page. And of course, it'd be great to do it with your whole essay, but I want you just for the lab just to do that for half a page and send that to me. Okay? And this will be different for everybody because everybody has different things. We're not doing it completely on what we learned in style. I was trying to focus on that, but you pick up whatever. Read your sentences aloud and try to strengthen them. And we'll keep doing this. Okay, so as we go through the semester, we'll have more tools in our toolbox. Okay, all right. Take care. Have fun. Have a great week.